what lessons have Gibraltar learnt from other countries' jurisdictions' mistakes to ensure that Gibraltar can become a global hub for all things crypto and blockchain?
That's a very good question, Peter, and I'm grateful for you to asking the question. I must say, I think Gibraltar has very few lessons to learn from other jurisdictions because we were the first jurisdiction to actually regulate the blockchain space. In other words, 4 years ago, the government of Gibraltar, working very closely with the Gibraltar regulator, the Gibraltar Financial Services Commission, and the local industry, established a regulatory framework for the regulation of DLT and crypto in Gibraltar. We've done that, I believe, very, very successfully, and we've created a regulatory model that actually others have emulated. And I think other jurisdictions are moving towards the Gibraltar regulatory environment. My view is that regulation of this space is entirely necessary. I'm a strong advocate of regulation. I believe that financial services and technology fits in very well within the regulatory sector. I believe that that provides the appropriate consumer confidence to allow the sector to grow. And certainly what we have seen is people coming to us in Gibraltar to say, you've done a very good job in the DLT space, and other jurisdictions are taking note of what you've done and also moving towards regulation. I mean, I don't know whether that answers your question or doesn't, Peter, but the reality is we were one of the first jurisdictions to regulate this space. So if anything, others are learning from us rather than us learning from other jurisdictions. We also find, Peter, this is interesting, perhaps market intelligence. I mean, I spent a lot of my time over the last 4 months fielding inquiries from around the world. In other words, DLT providers that are either regulated or not regulated within this space that are saying that they believe that they need to have regulation, that they need licensing, that they need a credible regulatory system that attaches to the activities that they undertake. We have certainly fielded very many inquiries. Some of these have translated into real applications to the Financial Services Commission. There are currently 15 DLT providers that are licensed in Gibraltar. The most recent applications that were granted to Bullish, Bitso, Huboy. We also have Sonda and other very big and well-known international operators established and licensed here. I believe that by the end of the year, we will have at least another 6 licenses granted by the regulator. So it's all extremely exciting.
I'm going to jump to a follow-up question from Peter Secon right now, which is, therefore, what is the key for these exchanges and other blockchain entities in Gibraltar to ensure future survival and not fall foul of fines and thus impair their growth in other jurisdictions? How do they ensure that growth in other jurisdictions?
I think the first thing that I think exchanges need to be very conscious of is the fact that all jurisdictions, I think, the direction of travel is regulation. That regulation will be a key component of this space in the very near future. We've seen jurisdictions already say that they will regulate the space. Of course, different jurisdictions will regulate in different ways. You can, for example, introduce restrictions on marketing or regulate marketing. You can do what we've done in Gibraltar, which is establish a bespoke regulatory regime for DLT specifically and crypto, which we believe is a very successful model and that has allowed Gibraltar to be as successful as we have been over the last few years. Or alternatively, jurisdictions might decide to include the DLT and crypto activity within the activities that they currently regulate within their own financial services regime. That makes it more restrictive, perhaps, for others to operate within that space. In Gibraltar, what we've done is we've introduced principles-based regulation. I'm a great fan of principles-based regulation because it allows the regulator to sit down with operators and licensees in a manner which is conducive towards meeting the right outcomes. An outcome which is good for consumers and at the same time allows operators and licensees to grow their business in a commercial environment. But of course, when we set up a licensee in Gibraltar, we obviously advise that they need to be cognizant of what the requirements are for them to be able to offer any services that they offer in other jurisdictions. This is not just a case of being licensed in Gibraltar or in any other regulated jurisdiction. It's a case of operators understanding the markets that they operate, and different markets have different rules.